Here we are, back with part 3, Punting Melbourne style.
Yeah, nice and relaxed here, aren't we?
We've got the great mighty Mick with us, so I thought we'd have a bit of chat about footy. So when we had you on previously with Juppy,
Yep.
you told us that the GWS was the side to beat. You said $4.50 was a more than reasonable price to take, and it's all panning out that way. So.
Yeah, I still think they're the team to beat, and they're right now. The last month they've been doing it without probably 6 or 7 A graders in that team, and all being equal, if they get blokes like Caniglio, Johnson, Griffin, Deledio up if he gets up, that's the big if.
Oh, really?
Haynes, who I think is a very important defender to their group. If those types of boys get up and available in a month's time, they can really launch an assault at the back end of the year. And that's when the business gets separated from the rest. That's what you have to do.
I don't bet on football, but for a bit of fun, I've been putting out on Twitter something that a bloke who made several houses out of betting on sport, and he always said the market overreacts on a week-to-week basis in footy.
It does.
And the irony, when I first met you and you were a star with Collingwood, I was doing my best behind the scenes at the footy show. My job was to overreact and be part of that media pack that then creates all the noise to say, well, this coach needs to be sacked or this player is no good, and then the week after, a la Gary Ablett, who should have retired, and then he's a superstar again. And I think now also, I'm out of it, but also my full-time job is being analytical and play long-term game and all that. I've really noticed how much it overreacts the market in footy as well as racing. Obviously I'm racing, but in footy in particular. So I reckon in clubland, that must be something really hard to hold your nerve when you're getting all that noise outside saying that, like Bucks is copying and those type of people.
It's an interesting question, Ralphie, because when you get involved in that AFL environment behind your own 4 walls, the external noise is totally irrelevant. And people can't comprehend that when you tell them that.
Yeah.
Oh, you have to hear it. You hear it. But when you get back into review or preview, and then your training and the philosophy of your training, you're geared around what's important. I always respect what people say. Do I necessarily agree with it? No. Do I have to adopt what they say? No.
Yeah.
One thing I've always been pretty strong on, you can learn from a fool. They teach you what not to do. And we've all made mistakes. And let's face it, I reckon there's plenty of people out there that they think they know the game of footy and how it should be played. But the game evolves week to week. Even over a 4-week period, the philosophy of one team, in terms of where it was to where it's got to, is clearly different in the space of 4 games. Now, a lot of people, you talk about the overreaction, was the GWS loss at the start of the year to the Adelaide Crows.
Yes.
On the back of that thumping by 10 goals, everyone said, oh, maybe, just maybe, they're not the real deal.
Yeah.
But in saying that, to beat Adelaide at home, first game of the year, they're hard to beat. We know Port Adelaide are a different team at home as well. I've still got my reservations about Adelaide on the road.
Yes.
And last week was a great example of that. Now, Geelong had played their 3rd game at home in 3 consecutive weeks. Hugely beneficial. I understand why people like them. But if they wanted to be the real deal, you've got to travel and beat the best teams on their own dunghill for starters. But also you have to bring that type of form to the MCG. I think they're a better MCG team than what they are on the road against anyone else. So I'm looking forward to seeing them if they get to that pointy stage of the year. But right now, all things being equal, with the games they're getting into these kids, and I'm talking, young Kennedy, Aidan Core's going to benefit. Tomlinson's playing pretty strong footy down back. Heath Shaw's guiding that group down back. Kelly's an absolute star. I'll put it on record. He is one of the best midfielders I've seen in over 2 decades.
Did you play against his old man?
No.
He just missed it.
Yeah, didn't play against him. It was North Melbourne, I reckon.
Yeah, early 80s,
But Michael Christian was a really good friend of his because they grew up in West Australia, I think, or played some footy with each other over there. But in saying that, you can see why Martin, Dangerfield, Kelly are probably the 3 most important and influential midfielders within their teams right now. And there's no coincidence with the money that's getting bandied around. They're talking about $9 million contracts over a long period of time for a kid as talented as he is. He is so game defining. Every touch matters. Every touch invites someone else into a better position if he gives it to them. And most importantly, most left footers are generally left-sided centric. This bloke's got an ability to go to his right side and still make the best decision and execute that decision.
It's huge in traffic.
Oh, he's a great player. He's a great player. Write his name down. He's one of the best we'll see.
So from a betting point of view, where are the GWS right now? What's the current premiership?
I'd be surprised if they wouldn't be. I reckon they'd be
3.
I reckon they'd be 320, 330. I would have thought. I reckon they'd be the 9 and the 9 and the 4 in the old. On the back of who's to come in, but also they've got that game buffer already on top of the ladder. Now, if you finish top 4, that's where every club's working towards. I noticed Luke Beveridge was talking about that this morning. That's the doggies. They're intending to get to the top 4. That's what most clubs around that top 4 bracket would be looking towards. They won it from 7th last year, I understand that. But in saying that, keep trying to go to interstate, go to West and beat the GWS on their own Dunhill. It makes it extremely hard.
So there's still a fair bit of $4 on the fair with GWS. Crows low 4s, Doggies mid 7s, Cats low 7s, Power low 7s, Eagles, Richmond in the 20s.
So the Tigers are the one that's surprising